For more than 40 years, Bob Proctor has focused his entire agenda around helping people create lush lives of prosperity, rewarding relationships, and spiritual awareness.
I'd make him a perfect 10. If I was an Olympic coach, that's the score I would give him.
Very energetic and engaging and really very interesting.
Bob Proctor knows how to help you because he comes from a life of lack and limitation himself.
It's very easy to understand, very straightforward.
He makes you want to listen to everything he has to say, very informative.
In 1960, he was a high school dropout with a resume of dead-end jobs and a future clouded in debt. One book was placed in his hands, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, which planted the seed of hope in Bob's mind.
I used to fall asleep through all kinds of things, but that man, he's got my eyes on this.
A lot of energy, high energy person.
In just months, and with further support from the works of Earl Nightingale, Bob's life literally spun on a dime. In a year, he was making more than $100,000 and soon topped the $1 million mark.
I like his style. He's genuine.
I like what he's teaching. I like what he's saying.
Bob then moved to Chicago to work for his real-life mentors, Earl Nightingale and Lloyd Conant. After rising to the position of Vice President of Sales at Nightingale Conant, he established his own seminar company.
He's dynamic, he's very intuitive into the way the mind is thinking.
Oh, I would rate him definitely as a 10.
Bob Proctor now travels the globe, teaching thousands of people how to believe in and act upon the greatness of their own lives. Presenting his program, The Science of Getting Rich, let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Bob Proctor.
Good afternoon. This is a neat seminar set up here. Think of this for a moment. All that's required to put the science of getting rich to work in your life is a decision. Now, do you know, most people will look at that and they'll say there's got to be more to it than that. How many of you have been trying to earn a lot of money for quite a long time? How many have difficulty at it? You know, 1% of the population earn about 95 or 96% of all the money that's being earned. And it's a subject that is not taught in school. And when someone comes along and tells you all you have to do is make a decision, we have a difficult time buying into it because we probably worked fairly hard attempting to earn money. Now, I stumbled on this information around 43 years ago. I have been absolutely fascinated with it ever since. It takes up all my days. Some people ask me, what are your hobbies? Just studying this subject. That's all I do. And I have worked all over the world with this, and it doesn't really matter where you go. You can go into different countries, into different cultures. When you get past the culture, people are essentially the same. And I think we all want generally much the same thing. I had a man sit down with me in 1961, and he put an R on the sheet of paper just like what you're looking at there. Then he put 3 letters down beside it, and he said, Bob, let that represent happiness, health, and wealth. And then he asked me if I thought he was a happy guy. And I said, yeah, he seemed pretty happy to me, and he did. He said, have you ever seen me when I was sick? And I had to admit I hadn't. He said, have you ever seen me when I was broke? And again, I had to admit I hadn't. Well, he said, you've got to be one of the most miserable people that I've ever met. And I was an unhappy guy. I was 26. As I look back at it, I think I was an unhappy kid that just grew up and stayed that way. And I believe a lot of people live that way. There's a lot of unhappy people around. I didn't have a terminal illness, but I always had a cold or a headache or a backache or something. And when it came to money, I mean, I had a problem. You see, as he said to me, he says, you're striking out in all of these areas. I was actually earning